Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derrick. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do they thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
Mike Dell here, aka the biblical, pontifical, unequivocal individual that's not traditional and inexplicable, and you are listening to Wrestling IQ 101.
Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew alongside Derrick.
You.
And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. And today we're joined by Big Dan Winant. How's it going, man?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. It's holiday season. Happy Hanukkah to you, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to you, man. I don't know which one you celebrate, but
both, man. He's like an honorary Jew.
I'll just say Happy Holidays. I guess that's the PC term around
Happy Holidays, right?
Around now.
That's so funny.
He's like Colt Cabana is like a brother. Like, you know how Virgil is
Yeah.
Jewish?
Celebrate.
Well, Virgil.
That's my stepdad's to the stepdad.
Nice. Very nice.
That's nice. That's not nice. So Big Dan, we're happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me, dude.
Yeah, definitely. You've been doing some great photography work as late. You also wrestle as well.
I do.
How did you venture into doing both?
It just started off by my friend who's at he's a wedding photographer and asked me to give it a shot. Said I might actually like photography. So about 5 years ago, I picked up a camera, started messing around. Turns out I really loved it.
Yeah.
I really actually started with doing wedding work, and then it more or less branched out into wrestling. I'm like, I'm already here for the wrestling.
Yeah.
Let me pick up my camera and see how it goes actually photographing wrestling and being on the other side of the ring.
Yeah.
Checking that out. It's actually really cool because it gives you a whole different perspective on how the cycle or the wheel or the squared circle of wrestling works.
Yeah.
So it gives you another perspective on the whole business industry of professional wrestling, which is really cool. Turns out I loved it, and I've been doing both ever since, which is really cool.
Nice. That's dope. Now, if it came to give you two options.
Okay.
You get to wrestle at WrestleMania or do photography at WrestleMania. Which one would you take? You get one match, or you get to do photographs of the whole show and be immortalized forever. Either way, you're immortalized, but which one are you picking?
That's a tough one. I would have to say photograph the whole show of WrestleMania, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, where else can you have a ringside seat basically taking photographs of some of the icons and childhood heroes you've grown up to watch? And I mean, you're sitting front row taking pictures that they're going to use forever and show their families. So that's, I mean, if I had my WrestleMania moment, heck yeah, if they give me both, I love that. But
Nice.
Do you have a favorite picture of yours that you've taken outside of wrestling and inside of wrestling?
Inside of wrestling, probably my brother KTB. If anybody doesn't know, my brother's KTB. He's been traveling around the independent circuit, 3 countries, state by state. Probably him versus Matt Riddle from JPW. I mean, there's one photo that I can just imagine in my head right now where he's actually giving Matt Riddle a big pump kick, and that's one of my favorite photos of all time that I have of him. Outside of wrestling, I mean, I do a lot of wedding work. There's some really nice moments that I captured of people getting all hitched and stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff out of there. Probably places, New York City, I've taken some great photos. I love taking my beach photos. It's nice, peaceful, calm down there. Cool, like little bit of sand, sunset, you know.
I know you've seen some crazy stuff by the wrestling ring. What's the craziest stuff you've seen outside taking pictures, outside the ring, like at weddings or something like that?
Nothing really too crazy at weddings. No fist fights at weddings, or
no relatives getting into it.
No relatives getting into it. Just a bunch of dads and moms tapping me on the shoulder, wanting their specific photos. When the bride and groom hire me, it's like you just want to kind of grab them by both shoulders, shake them around, and say, "Hey, man, calm down. You didn't hire me.
Oh man, what's more stressful? Is it more stressful like doing photography for somebody, or like actually planning a match and step by step doing those things?
If I was just training and starting out in wrestling, then wrestling.
Yeah.
I've done wrestling for about 15 to 20 years on and off. But by far, photography. I mean, you don't know what to expect when you go into a situation. You always got to try to improvise on the fly. If something, you can plan it the best you could in your head and schedule it the best that you can, or kind of have your spots in photography if you want to, saying, I'm going to get this spot in my camera and take a photo of it. But you just have to surround yourself with the atmosphere and kind of go with the elements from there. Wrestling, since I've been involved for so long, I've worked with the clientele basically.
Yeah.
So you guys can gel very easily and go from there. I mean, planning a match is I'm traditionally an old school wrestler. I don't do all these flips. I don't do all these crazy 1-2 kickouts, all this stuff. So it's easier to imagine it in my head because I'm always going to take the old school approach where, boo, yay, take it home, brother.
Yeah, I got you.
And I run more of the emotions and getting the point across as opposed to photography. You just don't know what to expect and who to expect and what's going to run in or hit you with a steel chair.
Yeah.
When you got the camera in your hand, but...
Yeah, that's true.
I remember last year, Frankie Kurtz, he got hurt at CCW, at like Tournament of Death. What's been some of the injuries that you've gotten, taking some pictures at ringside?
Luckily, I've never gotten injured, but, I've seen some stuff. I work for Game Changer Wrestling every now and then when I can, my schedule, but them, death match, glasses, barbed wire. I've definitely got some glass in the face, definitely got some thumbtacks. Nothing too serious. I mean, I've never been, seriously injured just doing photography, which is great. I mean, knock on wood. I think this table's wood or plastic or something like that. But definitely gotten hurt more wrestling than I have more in photography.
All right. Well,
I mean, it's a huge liability. I am ringside, and these guys are flying all over the place, and I had to get my butt out of the way quick and fast for some stuff that they do. But
have people ever, cheered you on, while you're out there?
as a photographer?
Yeah.
Sort of, but not really.
Take that picture. Take that
That'd
picture.
be awesome. That'd be cool. I mean, when I'm a photographer, I'm not trying to put myself over or anything. I'm just trying to work and do a good job for everybody. But that'd be pretty cool.
Oh,
I mean, maybe something goes in the ring and I have to pull it out. Photo man.
Yeah.
But nothing where everybody's cheering me on.
Yeah, that was crazy. You had your Superman moment at UWA Elite. You were taking pictures one moment, the next moment you're in the ring.
Oh yeah, that was pretty
gear.
cool. Yep. Well, the way it ran, I mean, we came up with the idea, and it was pretty cool. We just let it marinate with the audience.
Uh-huh.
The camera. Sorry, we're gonna break a little kayfabe here. The camera that I had in my hand wasn't real, so we just kind of let him smash it on the ground and let the crowd sink that in. And then I'm all sad, pouty. I go run away. I'm oh, you broke my camera.
Yeah.
And then I'm backstage and I have my new gear I made with me.
Yeah.
So I had that all set aside, and I get back there, and there was 3 boys hanging out with me. I'm dude, help me get my gear on real quick. I had a whole minute.
Oh, man.
It was a whole Clark Kent deal, you were saying, Superman. Dan, are you for serious? I'm yeah, I'm for serious. Come on, help me get into this stuff. So I forgot my belt. I run out there. I'm bumping people around. My butt's hanging out because I didn't have a belt on. I'm trying to hold my pants up. I'm trying to hit something. Oh man, it was a mess. Should just ran out there with my street gear. But anyways, it was cool.
Yeah. And when it comes to wrestling, was that something that you and KTB decided to do together, or was it something you did and KTB followed, or vice versa?
It's a yes and no. I mean, we've been huge wrestling fans growing up. I also had another brother involved in the business, Jim Logan, who's out in California making props now. We started training a little bit at JP to begin with, me and my brother Jim. And then JP ended up closing school, so we went to ECPW.
Uh-huh.
And we teamed up there for a while as the Canadian Outlaws. Yeah, we were from Canada.
The Canadian Outlaws.
Actually,
nice.
before we started tagging, I started tagging with Chris Callahan.
Oh, nice.
Dr. Callahan.
Yeah.
But Gino Caruso had the idea to put us in Japanese masks and call us the Japanese Assassins.
Oh man.
I can't remember what his name was, but my name was Fujio. So we did the whole Japanese thing, and
That's funny.
I guess he kind of thought from the old Super Assassins.
Yeah.
And then we did that for a couple of matches, and like, it's kind of ain't working. How about I just tag with my brother?
Yeah.
So we did the Canadian Outlaws, waved the Canadian flag, got all the heat from the crowd.
That's so funny.
The Canada thing was still kind of hot. I mean, we started around mid 2000s, so the Canada thing was still like from the WWE 97 days where Brett versus USA.
Yeah.
So it still had like a little bit of a zing to it. So instant heel heat,
Yeah.
but it worked out pretty good.
It's so funny how like with the country things, like you could bring anybody in waving a flag from a different country, and it could just draw so much heat.
Oh yeah,
like, anywhere.
it's easy. It's like, how do you get over as a heel? Here, I'm from Canada. Just wave the flag. Hey,
Yeah.
we hate you Americans. I mean, if I could have spoke some French, that would have been great.
Yeah,
Do like
that'd
the
been
whole
awesome.
Quebecer thing, but I didn't know any French, so I just sang the Canadian national anthem a couple times, and they didn't really enjoy that too
Oh,
much.
man.
Tell us about it.
Freaking WWE does that like so. They reran that so many times.
Well, they had the Un-Americans, they had La Resistance,
Mm-hmm.
they've had Vladimir Kozlov, Rusev with the Russian. I
Yeah.
mean, it's an easy go-to. Hey, you're not from here. We don't like you.
And then give them the United States Championship.
Yep.
Make everybody else even
Hey.
more mad.
Shinsuke Nakamura, you're from Japan. Here's the United States title.
Yeah.
People might not like you.
Crazy. Now, besides photography, do you have any other like hobbies or interests outside of wrestling?
I'm big into trading cards. I mean, I've been collecting
Oh, nice.
football and baseball cards for a long time. I go to trade shows and everything. As you can see from my shirt, huge Packers fan, so I
Yeah.
collect a bunch of Aaron Rodgers. Brett Favre's my number one.
Nice.
Jet Favre.
Huge book. What about Brett Favre? I got a huge book with all his cards in there. A lot of rookie cards, a couple of autographs. Huge
Oh, nice.
thing like this, signed by Brett Favre.
Oh man.
But it's cool to go around and meet people from there because you meet a couple wrestling people throughout the way. So it's like, hey, we got a show coming up. So it's an easy cross promotion, which is cool.
Yeah, you gotta like when it comes to cards, it's like I learned when I was younger because I was like, oh man, I got like these cool like Michael Jordan cards and
Yeah.
Gary Payne. But it's like you gotta get those things like time to get value. And I went to like a card thing and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna trade these in to make money. And it was like, yeah, you're not getting anything for those. You gotta wait like years from now until it can actually be worth something.
And plus, they made everything in the 80s and 90s so mass produced. It's all worth like a nickel
Yeah,
because they just said, hey, these things are pretty popular. Let's make 5 million of them
yeah,
instead of just making 5, instead of making 10. The trading card business is very different from what it was when we were kids because they're not making the cards to have as like athletes and stuff. Like, oh, I got my favorite player. It's more trickier now because there's like you guys do Funko Pops, right? Or you heard of Funko Pops, right?
Yeah.
So you know how there's like, or we'll keep it wrestling, like WWE wrestling figures from Mattel.
Yeah,
You know how like they have like variations of the cards and the paint and everything. Same thing in trading cards where they have variations of on top of variations on top of variations. So
yeah.
game's trickier now. It's hard to collect like whole sets and like all the variations and stuff. So it's very different than it was. I mean, when we were kids, like, hey, opening a pack of 50-cent cards. Now there's some packs of cards that go for like $200 or $1,000.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, they're pretty crazy.
I remember my grandpa, he would always get me the really hard protectors for your cards.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I have
Every
those too,
card,
yeah,
every
yeah.
card
Like
had to be put
like-
in the little chuck thing.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yep.
I couldn't.
They still
couldn't
do
move
them.
I was like, damn. Now I buy them by the case, like the 8x10s.
Yeah.
Whenever I meet like a wrestler, there's my 8x10. But I remember, I guess I get it from him. I just remember getting those chucks for those cards, and just remember, like every card had to have one, even if it was some crappy card. It had to be put in the case.
So you go back like 15 years, like, oh, these are these things. They all got to be imported.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what will somebody give me if I trade these in? They're like 5 cents. Like, no, it can't be.
Yeah, he was big on protecting everything, so we had to put like.
But that's good though. That
yeah.
Still got your Pokemon cards?
Yeah,
Yeah, and no, actually, I gave them away.
Oh,
man.
the earlier series are worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But my friend actually, for his birthday a couple years ago, got like a Charizard from his brother. He got it off like eBay for like $5. I'm like, that is pretty dope. He
Yeah.
got like a Charizard. I remember like I would kill for a
Oh,
Charizard.
Charizard was like the
The
hottest
best one,
craze.
yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
I didn't really do the Pokemon. Yeah, Charizards. I'm like, yo man, like speakeasies for Charizard. Like middle school, yo man, you got that Charizard?
I actually had all three of them, and then I gave them up because my neighbor, he gave me a whole bunch of like video games at the time.
Oh,
So I gave his little cousin all the Pokemon cards, and I was just like,
His
as
little
a good,
cousin is
yeah.
Zuckerberg, who owns Facebook
So-
right
yeah.
now.
I don't think they're going for that much. If you get a Charizard for like $5, but I would kill for a Charizard back in the day.
Yeah,
The first one's probably got to be worth quite a bit of money.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, they had first edition. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other big thing was Pogs. Pogs was kind of making a comeback.
Pogs.
Yeah. Remember the big
Slammer?
slammers? Like,
Yeah,
you have like
I had
this.
WWE ones.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
that's crazy.
You have like this big, like 5-pound, like slammer. Be like, yo, let's go play some Pogs and just
all
thunking
day.
on the table. We like bounce around, like all these things would fly all over. Like, all right, which ones are face up? They're mine.
Oh man.
I had Power Rangers too.
Yeah, Power Rangers.
That was awesome. Yeah, Slammers were the best, man.
crazy.
Just
That's-
big-
Everybody have their like lightsaber tubes of Pogs.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah,
oh, you want to play
yeah.
some Pogs?
Yeah.
I just wanted they pull out like 10 more, like have them like all strapped to like the side, like they were going down like in a Western
That's
gunfight. I got my 6 shooters.
You remember Crazy Bones?
Yeah, I do.
Did you have those?
I never had Crazy
Oh
Bones.
yeah, you just this is like a clock. Like you have to sit across like a hardwood floor
Yeah.
and just like fling these little rock things and try to knock down your friends like set of like they would line them up
Yeah, but
You
almost
had
like
those-
kind of like bowling almost in like
Yeah.
a sense.
and like
okay.
you would just switch on and off like so you would go and flick the like it had like one was like an egg and one was like a monster like a tiki thing. And you would flick them across the room, and then you would just and they had like all different variations. Like, none
Yeah.
of them looked the same, and they would just try to like flick them across the like you would do it across the table or the floor,
Yeah.
wherever you could. And it was funny because it's just how you flick it. You know, you could do like a really shitty flick and die in the middle of the,
Yeah.
of the
It
floor.
just where it landed basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I still have, I collected. I'm not sure if anybody collected these, but you remember when WWE had the ice cream bars?
Oh,
They used to give you
yeah.
a card. Yeah, I still have the
Yeah.
cards. I saved the cards. Yeah, I have them in a
Nice.
little plastic thing. I've saved them forever. And
You remember the
still have 'em.
magazines used to do the cards
Oh,
too?
yeah.
Yeah, they used to do
Yeah.
the same thing.
I always
yeah.
kept mine in there.
See, that's
I don't
when
know
times were so much easier back
Oh,
then,
yeah.
The
man.
best is the posters.
Times
Oh,
so
yeah.
much easier.
You remember you were able to write in too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. One of
yeah.
my friends actually wrote in middle school, and he actually got submitted in there. He like wrote a
Oh,
question
yeah?
to Bret Hart. He's like, Bret,
Oh,
so Ted from Spotswood.
he
It
actually
was like
answered
it was actually in there. He's like, yo guys, and he like brought it. I'm like, that's so cool.
I remember I used
awesome.
to make my mom buy another edition of the magazine to cut out that little flyer for the action figures, the ones that you couldn't get in the store, like the exclusive ones.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
so I used to make her buy another magazine, cut the thing out,
Man.
and send that out so it wouldn't ruin my copy of the magazine.
Nice.
And then I
Turn them
remember
on.
when I was a little kid. You remember they used to have the Shop Zone
Yeah.
booklets? I used to rip them out and just hand the book to my mom and say, "Here, Hanukkah." She would be like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "The book."
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What'd you end up getting at a deal?
You know what? She actually would buy a lot of the stuff. I remember she would, like T-shirts. I would get some T-shirts
Nice.
once in a while. Some of the movies I got, oh man, and it was hard too because I don't think she realized how exclusive, explicit the Stone Cold DVD VHS tapes
Oh,
were.
yeah.
The uncensored ones.
Did you ever have the chance to watch the D-Generation X one, the first one?
Yeah. Oh my
It's
god.
It's like, wow. You watch it back now, it's like, how did they get away with this 20 years
I have
ago?
no idea. The
That's the
awesome.
good old times.
I remember walking in and my mom walking by and she saw Mae Young flashing. I think it was at the Royal Rumble. And she's like, what are you watching? What am I letting you watch? And my
That wasn't even like one of the worst things.
yeah,
No.
and I remember we were sitting down one time and watching like Raw,
Yeah.
Goldust would come out with the pink hair and the bra.
Oh yeah, that was the artist formerly known as
Yeah,
Goldust.
And
that was bad.
And my grandma was just like, I love this. And like, she's like, why are we watching? What is wrong with this show? And then, I just remember how crazy, like, I don't, like, half the stuff they did back then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they can never fly now. I mean,
Yeah.
GTV and all sorts of stuff.
With the Big Show. That
Yeah,
was great.
they call you the Big Show.
That's funny.
That's like one of my favorite like vignettes of like all time.
So being from Jersey, how did you become a Green Bay Packers fan?
When I was 5 or 6, once again collecting trading cards, I think I saw Brett Favre in a trading card. I'm like, hey, I like this guy. I saw him on TV, like just throwing the ball all over the place, scoring touchdowns. I'm like, I think I like this guy. I think I like their team.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean, I just started liking Green Bay.
It's like always a weird thing. People always ask me like, how did you like Tampa Bay? Like,
Yeah.
you're from Jersey. I'm just like, they had the defense with Warren Sapp, Derrick Brooks, and I was just like, I love these guys, man.
John Gruden running around.
John Gruden, when he's actually good.
Yeah, he doesn't have it right now. I don't know what's going on.
I think they're losing on purpose, though.
At least I got like 15 draft picks in order.
They're getting ready for Vegas,
Yeah.
man. They're going to Vegas. They're going to draft all these young kids, and we'll see what
Just
they
got
can
to
do.
keep them out of the casinos when they get there. That's all.
It's going to be a lot of trouble, man.
Yeah,
A lot of
I
trouble.
think so. Even the NFL players probably love that stuff because probably like 50 to 75% of them love to gamble like when they can. They'll be like, "Oh man, we're going to Vegas. We're gonna have a great time."
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. They're talking about trying to get Odell to the Raiders.
That'd be
to
crazy.
Be in Las Vegas. They're like, that's a perfect setting for him.
Yeah,
It's like perfect. He's crazy.
That'd be
and
crazy.
He would love to be there.
but what would they have to give back for him? Like another number 1 pick? Or
I have no
they
idea.
have to give. I mean, the salary's big, so the Giants will be like, "All right, we'll just recoup the
I
salary."
gotta give up a lot for Odell, man.
Yeah. Eli be like, "Can I go too?"
Eli's done, man.
Can I go?
I don't think he's going. They're going like, yeah, the door's right there. You can go. No problem. Oh man. So as far as what's your favorite match? As a wrestler?
My favorite match of like
that you've had yourself.
that
personally?
I've had.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of many matches. I mean, probably in 2011, I actually wrestled Kyle
Oh,
on
nice.
KTB.
Yeah.
I was supposed to retire at the time, but I just kept getting dragged back in. But that was probably my favorite match of all time.
Awesome.
We had a really good match. I mean, it just flew. I mean, the atmosphere was right. The emotion was right. It was just a 5-star. We were both on and just had a lot of fun out there.
Nice.
Is it hard beating him up? You know, beating up KTB?
No.
No?
This
Yes,
is brother.
a
That's
little
the best
bit.
person to beat up.
I mean, yes.
You don't want to hurt. I mean, I feel like you don't want to hurt your
No,
brother.
funny story. Actually, we wrestled in 2013
Uh-huh.
at this event called Mischief Nightmare, and I try to protect the little brother as much as I can, and we're going back and forth, and I go to throw a jab, and I popped him right in the eye. I just see this mouse
Wow.
Oh man.
form over his eye. I said, "F beep 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 beep. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." He's like, "Okay, just keep going up."
Oh man.
And I'm like, but it's like one of those moments where like you make the impact and you go, "No," and you just like saw like millisecond by millisecond, just like this mouse forming under his eye. I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, man.
It must be kind of hard because you're seeing a relative out there getting punched maybe by somebody else, getting beat up by somebody else. How is it that you restrain yourself? How is that? Is it hard sometimes?
No, it's very easy because I'm in a business. I know what it's about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's KTB. He's a badass. He's got it. I mean, if I wasn't in wrestling or I didn't do wrestling or I didn't understand what it was about, then maybe I'd be like, just be like a fan, be like, "Oh man, they're beating up my brother. I gotta go in there and see him." But since I'm involved and I pretty much get the whole picture. It's like, oh, okay, that was cool. Like he like takes like a stiff move. I'm like, whoa, that was cool. He sold that good, or maybe he didn't sell that good. He got potatoed or whatever the case may be. It's more I watch it as somebody who's maybe like. I guess the best term is like I'm watching it like a producer, like I'm watching the whole show unfold and like just kind of making like mental notes in my head, like, oh, this happened like this, that was cool, or I like the way they like almost. I guess the better word to put is food critic. So I'm like biting into the match. I'm like, all right, this part of the match was good, and this part of the match sucked, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's more. I watch it more as a critic, as less than my brother's getting beat up. I gotta go save him.
Yeah, and you did allude to it that he is a badass. I mean, he's been killing it this whole year.
Yeah, and last year too. I
Yeah.
mean, it all started in Orlando. That was his big coming out party when he wrestled Sami Callihan during WrestleMania 33 weekend. And then this year I had to, I was fortunate enough to go out to New Orleans with those guys in GCW who are straight on fire right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say enough about Danny and Brett. Danny and Brett are great guys. They're always looking out for each other and everybody else around them. They gave me an opportunity, which is awesome, to photograph. And, I can be more grateful. I've seen so many great competitors come in and out of their ring. And they know how to generate buzz, and they know how to pick the locations. And their matchups are second to none right now. I mean, I don't see half of the independent promoters or even bigger promoters that are putting together the matchups that people are generally interested in. They're aligning the moon. They're aligning the moon and the stars. Correct.
Yeah.
Kind of like an old Jersey All Pro, remember? Like, cause they couldn't do
that's
anything wrong.
That's actually what it reminds me of, the old Jersey All Pro, where they're lined up guys like Rey Mysterio. I mean, they had the big guys. I mean, but these guys that GCW are bringing in now are huge guys, or was huge at one time, and people still remember them. Or it's like, geez, they had so many guys that have graced their ring that actually got signed by NXT already. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, not just but I feel like it's kind of like a whole thing out here. You can go to WrestlePro and some of the other schools out here, CCW, still producing great talent. And it has to be something in the water out here. Because...
Let's just get it out of the way. The East Coast is the mecca for professional wrestling right now. I mean, if you want to become a professional wrestler, try to land your feet in the East Coast, because it is the hotbed for talent signings or whatever it may be.
Once in a while, you have that guy from the West Coast or even Texas that will become a big name.
Right.
But always somehow we just
Jersey,
get
New
spoiled.
York area,
Which is
Jersey, New York area is huge. Or Maryland. I mean, both the Velveteen Dream and Leo Rush came from the Maryland area.
Yeah.
It's so great. We
I
get to
remember
see these guys for like $20.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you get to be like, yo, I saw this guy before he got there.
And it's cool, like, to get like photographs of these guys too, like going back in the photography business, like get photographs of these guys and like, hey, I did so many shows and I've taken so many great photographs of these guys and they just popped up on TV.
Yeah.
Or there was one instance where Leo Rush and Velveteen Dream tagged up in UWA Elite, and I photographed that match. It's like these guys were together, and here's where they are now. It's cool to see the timeline from going back to where you saw them at what point of your life, and now seeing them at what point of in the moment right now, is see how far everybody's come.
Yeah.
We get, and it's kind of like, it's the same thing for us too, because it's like we get to talk to these guys, being that it's such a populated area where there's such great wrestlers in this area, and we get to see the same thing. It's like amazing for us. Like, yo, we got to talk to these guys. We'll be saying the same thing about Kyle one day too. It's like,
definitely,
dude, like, we got to talk to him, and now look at, he's a mega superstar. You know what I mean?
Even guys like Janela, who's busted his butt. I mean, in 2014, I tagged with Kyle against Janela, and I forget whose tag partner was. Forgive me, but like to see like Joey come from little VFW in Sayreville now onto national exposure. Unfortunately, he got hurt. I wish Joey the best. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be kicking butt when he comes back. Yeah. But I mean, dude's been on a tear this year. Dude was on Jericho podcast, Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. I mean, to see Joey come from that, I mean, I'm very proud of Joey. He's worked very hard, and he's getting a lot of things that he wanted in life, which is cool.
Even his first comeback, with those vignettes saying that he was going to return in CCW.
Oh yeah.
How massive was that return? Can you just imagine what it'll be like this time around?
Oh, it's going to be
incredible,
and
absolutely incredible.
And little does everybody know. I mean, I don't know if you know Giancarlo Dinamo, but Giancarlo helped him out with building the character, and I would just want to congratulate Giancarlo, who just got signed by WWE. Yeah. Who's working currently with SmackDown, I think. But I know he's been on the Talking Smack set. Dude picked up, went to go try out in Germany. Like, what are you doing? You're hired, which is cool. Giancarlo's the real deal.
Nice. And now with having a brother that like Kyle, that's like that's killing it right now. Does that always give you the urge to keep wrestling?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to get back in there and go to a full-time thing, but I just got so many things going on outside of wrestling. I mean, like I do like a little bit of a trading card business. I got my photography business. I just got so many multifacets of my life. It's just hard to dedicate a full-time schedule to wrestling. But it's cool whenever I get an opportunity to wrestle. It's definitely a lot of fun.
What companies that you haven't worked for that you want to try to get into? You know, are you looking to go further into this photography realm?
You mean like photography-wise or wrestling-wise?
Yeah, well, both photography
photography-wise,
as a wrestler.
I'd love to work with as many promotions as I possibly can. I mean, I'd love to meet new guys and be able to take photographs and, you know, to have them show their kids one day that, hey, this guy took my photo and here I am now, or, you know, or say they don't make it in professional wrestling, just a cool story to tell. Hey, dad or mom was a professional wrestler and this guy took my photo and here I am. Even if they don't even mention me, it's not about that. It's all about the image I give them, so they can tell the story down the road, which is cool. Yeah, as far as photography, I'd love to, anywhere that would have me, I'd love to work for. As far as wrestling, I mean, everything's probably winding down in the ring. I probably got like, I don't know, I'm very selective on what I take because the wrestling aspect's starting to wind down. Probably by the time I'm 40, I'll probably be done in the ring, but for right now, I'm just happy for whoever have me or give me an opportunity. You never say never to anywhere because you just never know where you're going to end up.
Yeah, see, the thing that I like about you is that, you know, even when you decide to stop wrestling, you'll still be involved in wrestling.
Oh, I'm going to be involved in wrestling for life. That's for sure. That's 100%.
And that's awesome. I think, you know, it's awesome. You know, you see some guys like they just wrestle and then it's like after they wrestle, it's like
it's over.
Now what? You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, I'll be on my deathbed and somebody be going over or something. I'd be like, no man, you should have did it like this, or let me get a wheel me out there, let me get a photo of you in the ring. Or let's call this spot and take it home, brother.
Have you thought about like announcing and stuff like that?
I can announce. I mean, I got the forte to do it. Just not my avenue. There's so many good announcers out there. You can only spread yourself so thin in professional wrestling. Like it's good to know every aspect of it, especially if you're starting to do a professional wrestling business. It's something I can do. It's something I've done on the spot. You know, probably not my avenue to do it full time. There's so many great guys out there. I mean, Scotty Sarity, Adam Haggerty, David Adams, Larry Legend, my boy. Larry Legend's number one. Sturcio, Dave Destruction. There's so many great guys that are out there, and why take away from that? I kind of have like my own feel like photo.
Yeah,
he's already wrestling. He's taking pictures. Now you want him to take that job.
You want me to hold like a mic, like hold on a second, say that for a photograph. And now coming down to the ring.
Triple header, right? He's doing everything at once.
What about you
shoot fireworks at the fire at the same time.
Not even commentary. You never thought about doing that?
Oh, I'd love to do commentary. I mean, if that opportunity ever arises, I would think about doing commentary. I mean,
you could challenge like Colin West, the loser leaves UWA Elite.
That'd be fun.
That'd be hilarious.
Colin beat me up, man.
Colin
beat me up.
He did take a nice hit. What was it, Brandon who hit him?
Yeah. Kirk nailed him pretty good.
Yeah, right. So, man, you might have some stiff competition in that.
Yeah. But, you know,
Jaw.
It would be something I'd be interested in. I mean, I'm interested in every facet of professional wrestling. I mean, that's how you build your knowledge and you grow and develop yourself in the industry. But maybe. I'd leave that as a maybe. If somebody would want to give me a shot at commentary, I'd give 100% into it.
Is there something that you know now that you maybe think about, like that you did wrong back then that maybe you should have done differently in your career?
Just a little more open to opportunities. I felt like I shut some doors where I shouldn't have shut them. That's probably my only regret. I mean, maybe presenting myself more on a grander scale. Actually, I wish I actually wrestled during this era instead of the early 2000s, because the early 2000s we really didn't have the power of the media behind us where we could share a viral video and then get booked in 20 different states the next week. I mean, I mean, I love my time in professional wrestling, and I was happy with what I did, but unfortunately, it was just wrong place, wrong time, and you really don't get the exposure like you do now, which is great for the boys now, but you kind of got to be careful because everybody's a social media justice warrior, whatever they call them now, but to have that attention that they have now, we just didn't have it back in the day, so it was kind of slim pickings for opportunity.
It's a lot harder back then.
Yeah.
And it's so ironic because doing what you do, you're helping those guys today with social media, with the great pictures you take and stuff like that.
That's been my goal since I've done the photography and wrestling. It's not about me. It's always about them 100%. I'm just trying to help them, get an eye on them or 2 eyes on them.
Yeah.
Or hopefully 10 or thousands of millions where they can kind of get a foot in the door and somewhere and grab an opportunity somewhere else.
Yeah, true.
It's always been about who I'm working for, not about myself. And that goes with anybody I work for.
Even the Playboy Bunnies.
Even the Playboy Bunnies. I want to get you national exposure.
Oh my God.
Is there an opponent that you haven't had that you crave a match with, that you just feel like that'd be something?
To tell you the truth, I think me and Matt Tremont would match up really well.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, we're both got like that. We don't care in the ring. Mm-hmm. Well, not that we don't care. Like the Tremont's character is like, hey, I don't take crap for anybody, and I'll kick your F&A.
Yeah.
I think our styles fit very similar. We don't do the crazy flips or anything, but we can get crazy. Yeah. Like Tremont's the king of crazy. He doesn't do the flips and stuff, but I'll kick your ass any way else he can. Yeah.
That's funny because he doesn't. He's usually the bigger guy in the match, Matt Tremont, and have somebody that's probably that he has to look up to now would be kind of like a test for him, right? So that's a pretty cool matchup.
Oh yeah, that would probably be there's a couple matchups like in my head like that I'd really like to have. Like Tremont was one of them. I'd like to have another one with Kyle. Mm-hmm. I mean, say I gotta beat him up and be the bad guy, wrestling talk, but that would be kind of fun to get in there with Kyle one more time. As far as like dream opponents, like people that are around like now, I know he'd probably kick my ass in the ring, but I would love to work like a Matt Riddle.
Wow.
He would kick my ass in like 10 seconds, but I would have did business with a pleasure on my face. I'm like, all right, thank you for the match, man. Awesome opportunity. Actually, Cannonball. I think me and Cannonball could have a solid little.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So you kind of understand like what I'm saying here is like I'm old. I don't do as much as I used to, but I'll still throw fists and we'll still throw whatever and we'll have a good time and we'll still give 100%.
It'd be nice with a Monster Mag too. I would
love to work Steve.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be dope.
To tell you the truth, Steve is great. I mean, he's one of the people who helped Kyle get his foot in the door, and I'm 100% grateful to Steve for everything he's done for Kyle. Mm-hmm. As you remember, they started off as the B Squad. Yep. In JCW before it was GCW, and they ran with the tag titles, got the rest of the Steiners, which was pretty cool. But Steve has been very monumental in Kyle's development in wrestling, and I don't know if he knows how monumental he was. I'm pretty sure he does, but thank you, Steve. You've helped Kyle out so much along the way.
Yeah, he's the reason why we're sitting here.
That's true.
Steve's a great guy. Yeah, he'll help anybody that he can.
Yeah, he really is. They don't come any better than him.
No, that's for sure.
Stand-up person and
Uncle Mac.
Yeah, just I think people. I definitely try to strive to be like him now, because he's such a good person.
I think everybody should follow the model of Steve Mack because Steve's as tough as they come. You know that. Steve and Muff. I mean, they'll both throw fists. I mean, one of the best tag teams we've seen. Yeah. Independent, they're still one of the best tag teams I've seen ever. I mean.
Yeah, that's one hell of a team for sure.
Yeah, and Steve and Dan, they both help so many people along the way.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because they're not done yet.
No,
they've gone their separate ways.
Yeah,
but they're not done.
No, I'm pretty sure
Wow.
I'll expect like another couple matches.
Damn.
Actually, their match against Bill Carr and Dan Barry was great.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that match was awesome.
I was telling Dan Moff was just here, and I said to him like, I was so nervous going up to you and Monster Mac to interview you at JAP, and he was like, "Why?" I'm like, "Cause I watched you kill people for like 20 years."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, like that's why." I'm like, "Yeah." Like,
It's so funny because like those guys are like monsters, but they're like not to kill the characters, but they're like two of the greatest people that you could ever meet.
Yeah, I mean, don't get tough when they have to get tough.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
that's
sure.
like 95% of the time, but that very down to earth guys.
oh yeah, they are awesome, and yeah, thank you again to Steve because he's really helped us.
Steve
grow.
is like Papa Bear, like the independent circuit in the tri-state
for
area,
sure,
because
yeah.
like you got something wrong, you're going through something, you're trying to spin something in your head, you go to Papa Bear, and Papa Bear is there to give you the advice, and Steve's
Yeah.
always been that guy.
That's funny because like everyone goes to him or Moff, but I wonder who they go to. You know?
Oh, I'm pretty sure the guys that they started with. I mean, I think they started in Long Island Wrestling Federation,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, where they started with Homicide. You remember
Yeah.
Lathan or no?
No, but
Lathan was a bigger dude. I mean, he started training with him. He had this chop that one of the most wicked chops I've ever seen. He would just like scream something in the air and go wham, and you hear it all over the place.
yeah, Homicide was another one I was nervous talking to. I got to talk to him a couple times, and each time like this is the notorious 187. Like if I mess up, he might actually give me one of those homicides on me.
Right.
But no, awesome dude.
Also, Loki started with
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
I believe. Trying to think who else was like in that grouping.
In the doghouse.
Yeah, the Doghouse. Yep, Bobby Lombardi started the Doghouse.
Yeah.
You know, R.I.P. Bobby. Bobby was an awesome guy. I'm just trying to think like, I don't know if Jay Lover was there with them or
Oh,
not.
Jay Love.
I don't know if he was Doghouse. I'm pretty sure he was, but I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that were in that group, and they say it all the time, DHS family,
yeah, that was,
and that's where that all started.
yeah. I just remember they really ran that rec center.
Oh,
Man, I couldn't wait to get my money for that show.
Even before that, they were doing the Atlantic City shows and all that.
Yeah, that's like the only time I didn't go to JP was
Their anniversaries.
Yeah, because I remember I was still kind of young.
Okay.
But and my dad, he would work, and he was like, "I'm not driving like an hour and a half for a wrestling
like-
show."
he's
He's
like,
like, "I
"No,
barely want to drive
you're
20
nuts."
minutes up the road for
Yeah.
wrestling."
And you got to remember, Arcadia had his JP was just starting up for him at that time too. Do you remember the Rumble that he was in where he dressed up like low key, and then he dressed up like 3 or 4 different people,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then he came in.
Arcadia.
He was so different from when he started. Remember the trunks and the shaved face?
Oh yeah, he was all clean and
everyone would just boo the crap out of
yeah.
him.
Arcadia is the best ever, man.
He's
I'm so
one-
sad that he's like not wrestling.
I wish he would. I mean, I've known Arcadia for many, many years now.
Yeah.
We've probably known each other for 15 plus years. Matt, I'm sorry, Arcadia.
Yeah.
Not to go insider too much, but he's one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen in that ring.
Yeah.
He threw my pen out. So
I think he was ribbing you.
Every time I see him, I'm like, he's
Twice.
because I've seen him. I went to shows and because of injuries or whatever, he couldn't wrestle or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "You're not wrestling tonight?" And I was like, "Yo, I'm disappointed, right?" He's like, "Yeah, that's why I'm not wrestling." He's like hilarious, man. I love
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Man. He's great.
One of the,
and he rolled a battery at me too.
he plays. That's the way
He's
he does.
hilarious. He's definitely
But honestly,
He's,
like
he's an awesome dude.
pound for pound, one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen
for
in the ring.
sure. For sure.
Light heavyweight, super heavyweight, whatever he's done.
Yeah.
Matt Arcadia, I feel like doesn't know how talented he is at some time, and he just creates art. He puts the canvas down, just
Yeah.
doodles the paintbrush, and just creates a masterpiece every time he steps in and out of the ring.
Remember when I went to UWA, I believe this is my first show. I went to UWA, and the main event was Arcadia versus Kyle the Beast.
Oh man, that was such
And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, man, this is like an amazing match.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, these two guys need to both be signed. Like, this is nuts.
That's
man.
one of my favorite matchups.
Those
Like
guys together.
wrestling wise, those guys together is
Yeah, they
very
make great
cool to see.
matches.
Yeah,
Or,
because they very rarely have every time I've seen him wrestle, it's been nothing short of 4.5, 5 stars.
Yeah.
Or Meltzer gives out those 6 stars.
Yeah.
I remember him and Azrael would just would just kill it every time, and I'm like, how do you guys every time nothing skips a beat in those matches. They're phenomenal. Like absolutely.
They just when Arcadia connects with somebody, he's capable of anything he wants in that wrestling ring.
I always love the good guy Azrael. When he comes out with the horns and oh man, he could just do incredible stuff, man.
Yeah, a great worker.
Yeah, I talk about this all the time. I love watching the Briscoes and Brody Lee.
Oh man, yeah.
I was so afraid for my safety and my friends because they would come out, and then LAX would just come out and just run through Homicide and Hernandez. I was just like, damn, it's one of the craziest things. And Charlie Haas, when he was done, and JP.
Remember Charlie?
Man, that was great stuff. And Jay Lethal, everyone.
Jay.
It's funny.
Jay's the man.
And Omega too. Everybody who came through that door has killed it in some way in professional wrestling. And
they've been. Some of those guys have been the top 10 wrestlers in the world. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It's like the little company that that could, and,
right.
And they were on par with ROH.
I think so at one point. Yeah. I think you're correct. I think they might have been neck and neck at one point.
Yeah, just too bad ROH got the mainstream attention. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what happened.
But yeah, JP was definitely I couldn't wait to get to that rec center.
Oh yeah.
Again, man, that was. They bring in Abyss or whoever, Samoa Joe and Rhino for $20. Like how the hell?
They had Mysterio on their show.
Yeah, Mysterio, yeah.
And Angle. It wasn't Angle there the one time?
Yeah, they had Team Angle, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had,
Booker T. Remember when Jay wrestled Booker T?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, oh my God, they brought in the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Man, you name it. Danny DeMondo was my first indie wrestler that I met, and Alicia. And I remember she was giving out autographs for $2, and she was like, "The next person who buys this gets a hug," and I was like, "But I didn't get a hug." And she turned around, and I was so young, and she just gave me a hug, and I was just like, "This is awesome. This is the best." I spent $2 and I got this awesome hug, and and it's crazy because she's a Hall of Famer. And in other companies and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, people who came through there, even if they didn't make it to WWE, they still found success. Dana Mana running a huge promotion.
Right.
And people who are still kind of killing it. Up until now, EC Negro before he retired. I mean, he was still killing it with some great matches.
Yep.
So
it's funny how the East Coast really. It doesn't really go through a down period. It goes through a cycle where new faces come into the game and old faces come back. But it's always been the number one scene in the East Coast wrestling game.
Yeah, definitely. Now that you do photography, have you ever thought about doing, or have you done videography?
Oh, I could if I wanted to. It's just about putting my mind to it. Yeah. But eventually, that's what I want to start a branch into. I wanted to focus on one element of it first, and then I'm gonna branch into, not that I don't know how to do it, it's just that I kind of want to stick with one flavor instead of 3 for right now.
I got you. Master one thing. I got you.
Yeah, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Magic.
Oh, Magic, that's my brother, man.
I mean, you faced him, right?
Yeah.
You've teamed with him. I mean, 35 years in wrestling plus.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it? Does that guy still keep you inspired to keep going? Because every time I talk to him, he just enlightens me. And I'm like, I love you, man.
Magic is one of the best human beings on this planet. Magic you can go to for anything that you want. Wrestling, outside of wrestling. Magic has done, I'm going to say, how I called C-Mac Papa Bear? Mm-hmm. Magic's a Papa Bear too, because you can go to Magic for anything. I know some guys call him Sensei, because so many guys have been helped by Magic, and for a very, very long time. Magic is almost like the godfather of independent professional wrestling on the East Coast. The man has done everything. The man has helped everybody and never asked for anything back in return. Yeah. And Magic, I love you, bud. Thank you for everything. I mean, you've inspired so many people along your journey. I don't think I don't think anybody really knows how. Like, magic's a stump of the tree. I don't know. I don't feel like people know how many branches come off the magic stump of professional wrestlers, because there's so many people that magic's helped or just lent a hand to, or just said, hey man, thank you for coming. As far as fans too, not even wrestling. I mean, fans, people in general. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if people know this about Magic, but he's done countless amount of charity work within the Staten Island area, just visiting hospitals and visiting, helping shelters or wherever he's done. I mean, he's one of the best human beings on this planet. Magic he's got a heart of gold.
You know what's funny? Like, so my first show that I did without Monster Mac, that he was backstage, Magic was there. And I don't know, I was just sitting in the corner, wasn't talking to anybody, being polite and making sure, if I saw somebody shook hands, I didn't want to step on any toes or say anything wrong. And it was so funny because he sits down right next to me, and he just starts talking.
He just starts going.
That's Magic. And I'm looking at him this a mid conversation or something like that.
He'll just jump right in with you and be like, so I'm gonna go to the buffet later, and if you want to come with me, he'll even invite you. He'll be like, so we're just about to come go eat with us.
And it was so awesome because he made me feel such at home that it opened up, everybody was like, all right, we could talk to him now, just because he just happened to sit into me and started talking about something, and I'm like, this is awesome, that the fact that you took the time out to just even speak to me. It was awesome.
And he does that with everybody. I mean, and that's one of the qualities that I can say I'm proud that I picked up through Magic, because I just learned to be more open to people and and just, hey, you don't know what these guys or whoever's sitting in the corner, you don't know what their situation. Just be friendly to them and hopefully.
Especially when you're the new guy too,
right? And, you don't know where they come from or what the background is. The first time, last time.
Yeah. You don't want to get in
wrestling.
I was like, do I go in there? Because I had a really good joke when they were talking. I'm like, but I don't want to say, I don't know their humor. I don't know them. I know I know them because I've seen them wrestle.
Right.
Just don't know their personality. So I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna wait here and it was just so funny. I was just sitting next to Matt. He just plopped down next to me. I'm like, this is awesome.
Just he could do that. The cool thing about Magic too is you could not see Magic for a couple years, and he'll come right. You'll be sitting at the same bench, and he'll come sit right by your side again, and just carry on it just started back up.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a month and a half, but it feels like years. Cause I can't wait to see him.
He's always Magic. Love you, Magic. You're my bro.
And so, you have any good rib stories or road stories that you can share? Or
yes and no. I mean, we were talking about Virgil. So we're down in Louisiana. Me, Kyle, and Ryan T are kicking around. And we're about to head down to the venue, Poncho Train, to go get ready for Bloodsport and Spring Break and all that stuff. Well, it was just Bloodsport the one day and then Spring Break the other. I think that's how it worked. Oh, I'm getting old. Anyways, so Ryan's kicking down there. Ryan was supposed to ref some matches down there. He didn't reach out to Brett or Danny and Brett hit him up, and for some reason Ryan Torek had 3 Facebook accounts. So I didn't know which one it went under. He's like, hey man, what's going on? Danny and Brett's like, hey, we reached out to you, but you never responded. So they reached out, he never responded, so he never got to do anything with GCW during the weekend. I think maybe he helped at the end, at Spring Break, just said, hey man, I effed up, let me help you any way I can. But anyways, so we're kicking around the venue, and Virgil is off in the corner. And we kind of feed ride to Virgil, just kind of walking by. We're we saw Virgil, so we just kind of not physically give him a nudge, just kind of veered him in Virgil's direction. And next thing you know, a half hour later, Ryan comes back and just has this bug-eyed look, he doesn't know what happened to him or whatnot. He just had like this look, like he just
Best moment of his life look, right?
no, like the what the heck did I just go through? Like, it was like literally like we were like almost like Dana. I don't know if you know Dana who does merchandise for
Yeah.
GCW. Dana's awesome. She's helped out so many of the boys like merch or whatever it is along the way. So I'm just sitting there with Dana and I'm just like looking at him like still over there with Virgil. And it's like we're like almost like timing it. I'm like 15 minutes has gone by. Almost like the old Joe Dapper Johnny. Remember how he used to do that in NWS? 15 minutes has gone by. I'm like, just kind of sitting there like, you know, like 15 minutes has gone by in this conversation.
Virgil is hilarious. Andrew loves Virgil to death.
Oh, that's my favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
And it's so funny with Virgil. He's such like a he's kind of like a cult legend, I guess you could call him.
Oh yeah.
And he's like big on social media, but he doesn't own a phone. Like he doesn't own a phone. We met him at Boardwalk Beatdown. We met him, and he doesn't have a phone. Like he was like getting people's numbers by writing them on paper.
Really? Like that old school?
Yeah, he doesn't have a phone at all. I'm like, how are you doing all this stuff on social media? Like you don't even own a phone, dude.
Is he like just going to like the public library?
I have no idea.
The best was like Chad asked us to do some stuff for Boardwalk Beatdown, and
This
he
is
was
not
kind
the
of
best.
he was like you can kind of talk to like
This is not the
whoever,
best.
No.
and like my first reaction was just like Virgil.
He said Chad asked him, you can talk to whoever you want to.
Nah,
This
not
is-
like that.
This
but
is no, but this is like a show. This is like it was a convention with like so many people there. I'm like,
Excuse me.
Goldberg and Sting were the headlines.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, that probably was out of the
And there
question.
was,
but there's like Abyss
Bullet
and
Club.
you know
Bullet
Bullet
Club.
Club and all these other guys. And then Andrew says Virgil.
Yeah, I said Virgil. No second thought, no nothing. I
And,
was like, we have to talk to Virgil.
And then
Let's
Chad
go.
asked him,
Let's go
"Oh,
right
did
now."
you talk to Derrick about this?" Oh
Yeah.
no, yeah. He said it's okay. I was like, "What? No, I didn't say this is okay."
But no, yeah. First person I thought I was like,
But
it has to be Virgil.
besides all the BS, Virgil's actually a really nice guy.
No, I've heard that. Like,
He's a really nice guy.
Oh,
he's just very long-winded with his conversations most of the time.
He's beyond.
The little facts are a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah. The little facts are off, but it's cool.
He's
No.
he's a no harm, no foul. I mean, he doesn't.
He
he's
reminds me
not
of like my
trying to,
uncle. It's like he's telling you a story, and then it's
Yeah.
like, then he tells you something. You're like, wait, what? Like that didn't happen that year. Like, wait, what
You're like,
talking
I
about?
better
All
not
right.
say anything, or this conversation is going to continue for another 25 minutes. So let me just
Just
nod
let it
my
go.
head and go, yes.
Just
The
let
best-
it go. Just
the
let it
best
go.
is they had like a DVD, and you remember like the pop-up videos.
Yeah.
It's like that, and it has like the actual facts. And I'm like,
Facts
that
are
is
really good.
hilarious. Like, someone took the time to research his like answers. I'm like, that is like awesome. I wish they had that for like the president. Sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
like, just facts check you. Like, whoop, pop,
Yep.
pop. Those are the best. Pop-up videos.
That'd be cool to do like if I ever get into like more production side of wrestling, do like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 of like wrestling commentary, like just like pop up like fact checks or just put the shadows of like me and some other people
Oh, yeah.
talking in the background.
Oh
Like,
my
oh,
goodness.
just like live commentary.
Which I also thought was pretty interesting is that you've gotten to wrestle some legends.
Oh yeah.
The Patriot, Hacksaw, Jim Duggins. What's been your favorite legend that you've gotten to wrestle?
Oh, definitely Patriot. I mean, the Patriot was excellent. I mean, I was doing a Canadian Outlaw thing, like we talked about it before, and it was just so easy. It just meshed so well. He's very easy to work with. I don't know. I won't give away who the Patriot is for kayfabe's sake, but
It's Virgil.
it's Virgil. Yeah. So Virgil was great as the Patriot. But super easy to work with. Knows the bullet points to hit and just have fun. Take it home and just very super easy. Hacksaw was great to work with.
Took a 2x4, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hacksaw came to Hazleton and hit me in the back with a 2x4.
Yeah. Kid always,
Yeah.
that's a story to tell forever, man.
Hacksaw is super easy to work with.
His hands are like a bear claw.
Oh yeah,
They're huge.
I remember it was cool of him like to actually give me that moment and like nail me with the 2x4. That was actually pretty cool of him.
That is dope.
Just recently, I got to work with in the ring a little bit, like Shane Douglas and Mr. Ooh La La, which was pretty cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was for the Turkey Bowl World One.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just released that. Those guys at World One are great. I mean, great people over there.
They do some great things for kids too.
Oh yeah,
So
they're awesome.
So Dan, where can people check out your photography if they want to talk to you about trading cards? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, if I'm Virgil, it's just write it down on a piece of paper. I'll store it, and I'll go use a public library to contact you.
The yellow pages?
Find a payphone, put your 10 cents in and call them.
Where did I see a payphone? I saw one just
Where?
recently. I don't remember where I saw one. Man, was it in the city?
They still have them?
That
I think
makes sense.
I saw one in the city.
Yeah, that could make sense.
in
Maybe
New
it's
York,
like
yeah.
for like purposes they gotta have like a payphone.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
like
that
one
Maybe it was a
random
museum
one.
you walked through or something.
Oh man, I just saw. I was like, damn, they should have taken a picture. Like,
Yeah, that's so
location.
cool. But as far as social media, I'm at DM Winant Images More for my photography. DMWinantImages.com is my webpage. Obviously Dan Winant at Facebook or and eBay. I do a little bit of business. If you want any trading cards, just hit me up. I'll probably see what I got in the lineup and see if I can get you anything. Yeah, it's pretty much. Oh, social media. Sorry, I forgot one. Twitter. Don't use it too much, but it's at Big Dan Winant. I try to stay away from the Twitter game. It's just not for me. But I have it to have it.
Yeah, definitely. I hear you on that. Well, Dan,
Instagram. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Instagram.
Sorry to give you the old sharp
That's
cutoff
the
with the
pictures.
heel heat, but
You gotta plug Instagram.
Instagram at DM Winant. I've been horrible at updating my stuff lately, but I'm gonna go through some stuff next week and try to get a bunch of stuff up there.
Awesome.
I just been horrible with updating lately because I've been so darn busy with everything. But,
Snapchat.
That's good. Tinder.
I have a
anything like
Snapchat. But we just have our little group where we snap each other. Me, my brother, a couple of the guys,
That's funny.
a couple of guys. I'm not gonna give away everybody. I'm gonna say me, my brother,
A
and
couple friends.
a couple friends from the UWA Elite have our own little group.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna name the names
Yeah.
because then everybody's gonna be like, I want in on that group. I'm like, no, this is our group.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, we definitely thank you for taking the time out,
Yes,
stopping
Tinder.
in. Tinder? Yeah, I actually had Tinder. No Tinder?
Yeah.
No, I was just kidding.
I don't use
I'm
it.
totally kidding. I was just kidding. No,
It's probably got
no,
like
no.
a picture of me from like 10 years ago. It's like when you go into like a wrestling event and they use like a promo picture of the guy from like 20 years ago.
Oh, man.
That's what my
hilarious.
Tinder looks like right now.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Well, find them everywhere, man. Definitely. Dan, we definitely thank you for stopping in,
Yeah, guys,
man.
thank you, dude. I've had a
we
blast
appreciate it.
talking to you guys today.
As for us, we're Wrestling IQ 101. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Wrestling IQ 101. You can listen here on YouTube. You can listen on the B Plus Player Network, on iTunes, Google Play, all streaming media.
Multifaceted. I love
Yeah,
it.
man,
Yeah.
definitely.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
for
thank you
taking out the
guys.
time.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy Hanukkah. Hopefully, Hanukkah Harry's nice to you. And Christmas Kringle will be nice to us on our
Yeah,
side.
definitely.
Be well,
And
guys.
That's
See you
it.
soon.
We are out. Cool. You have just listened to the Wrestling IQ 101 podcast, powered by B Plus Player Radio.
One more for the good guy.